Hello, Osseo Senior High. It's Michelle Mazanik in the Career Resource Center, and today we're going to start filling out your answer document for the ACT Plus Writing. As you already know, every junior will take the ACT Plus Writing on Tuesday, April 28th. Today, we're going to start filling in the non-test portions of your answer document. You should have in front of you an ACT Plus Writing answer document and taking the ACT booklet. Let's look at the ACT Plus Writing answer document and make sure that it's on page 1 so that page 1 faces you. It should look like it does on the screen. Then please open your Taking the ACT booklet to page 5. Please follow the instructions in the booklet to complete the requested information in blocks A through H. Put one letter or number in each box and fill in the corresponding oval below. Even if your document has a barcode label, you have to fill in blocks A and B on page 1 completely and accurately. If you have a question, raise your hand and your teacher will stop the screencast and answer that question. When you have completed blocks A through H, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, please put your pencil down and look up so that your teacher knows that you are finished. Let's begin. Start filling out blocks A through H. Teacher, please pause. Now that everyone has completed blocks A through H, we are going to skip block K. Nothing goes in block K. And now we're looking at block L. In block L, it asks you if you wish to participate in the ACT Educational Opportunity Service. This is a free college and scholarship information service for examinees or test takers who take the ACT. Fill in the Yes oval if you want to let colleges, scholarship programs, ACT, and other educational organizations know that you are interested in receiving information about the opportunities they offer. The colleges and organizations that wish to contact you will receive your name, your address, your email address, and some other information you provide on this answer sheet. They will not receive your test scores. So answer yes to item L if you are interested in some educational opportunities, including scholarships. When you've completed block L, please put your pencil down so that your teacher knows you are finished. Teachers, please pause. Next, everyone please look at block M. It's at the top of the screen. If you want ACT to send your scores to colleges or scholarship agencies, find the list of codes that begins on page 11 of your Taking the ACT booklet. Locate the code for each of your 4 choices and enter that correct code in numbers in the boxes in order of preference. Then please fill in the corresponding ovals. If you do not currently plan to go to college, please fill in the oval under Non-Reporting Option. One just editorial comment about this particular piece. If you don't know where you're going to college at this point, but you have an idea of maybe 2 or 3 colleges that you're interested in, I would strongly recommend that you list those colleges under block M. And here's why. Students who don't report their ACT score now, prior to actually taking the test, have to go to actstudent.org, create an account, and send their scores through the website to each individual school. That takes time and it costs money. So if you don't put any college planning or reporting scores down right now, no colleges listed in these 4 choices, what you're signing up for is going to ACT, filling out a request, and waiting between 4 and 8 weeks for that request to be fulfilled. And then you'll have to pay an additional $12 per score report that you send. So 4 to 8 weeks waiting time and $12 per score report that you send. So after you take this test, if you decide, yay, I did really good, I want to send it to 4 schools, You're going to wait 4 to 8 weeks after you get your test result, and it's going to cost you $48 or $12 for each of the 4 choices. So I would strongly recommend that you put something down in the college planning reporting scores in Block M now, even if you're not 100% sure that you're going to apply to that school or you're planning to attend that school. It's a time saver and a money saver. So go ahead, look on page 11 of your booklet and fill in up to 4 choices where you would like your score for this particular test sent. Teachers, pause here. Okay, now that everyone is done with Block M, let's turn our answer documents to page 3. So we're going to go down here. Page 3 looks like this. At the top there's the interest inventory, but about a third of the way down there's an email address box. If you have an email address and you choose to provide it to ACT, it will be used in accordance with ACT's privacy policy and included on score reports to colleges. Make sure you enter all letters, numbers, and symbols of your email address using the key provided on your answer document and grid the corresponding ovals below each block. I will say that if you don't include an email address and you said, yes, I'd like to learn about these educational opportunities, you will get boatloads of mail, U.S. mail, like to your mailbox. If you provide an email address, this might be a more efficient, maybe a more effective way for you to get those opportunities without having your mailbox, stuffed full of things every time you turn around. So I would recommend that you provide an email address. Please make sure it's an email address that you check on a pretty regular basis because you want to make sure that you're getting the information about these opportunities that are available to you. So let's fill out your email address if that's something you choose to do. Teachers, please pause. Okay, now we're going to turn our answer documents all the way to the back page. So just flip the whole thing over way on the back. And you can see this is page 10. We're going to complete blocks N through R. So N, O, P, Q, and R. So to receive your score report and to receive mail from colleges and scholarship programs, you must fill in the address ovals correctly. In block N, enter each part of the address where you are to receive mail. Leave a space between the parts of your street address. Use the slash only to designate fractions like 80th and 1/2 street, something like that. And if you live in an apartment, enter the apartment number after the street name. When you're finished with blocks N through R, so N, O, P, Q, and R, don't forget Q, that teeny little box there. But when you're finished with R, please put your pencil down and look up so that your teacher knows you are finished. Teachers, please pause. Okay, now that everyone is done with N through R, we're going to turn our answer document back to page 2. So that looks like this at the top, page 2. It should say high school course / grade information. You're going to turn your, taking the ACT booklet to page 6 as well. You might want to follow along with those instructions. So the first thing we're going to look at here is this part of this block, is this middle section where it says courses taken or planned. We're going to mark down the list of courses on the left there. They're your English classes, your math classes, your natural science classes, and your social studies classes. We're going to mark down the courses that you've already taken or are currently taking, the courses you haven't taken but you registered for senior year, and then courses that you're looking at and saying, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to take that before I graduate from high school, and that's going to be in that third column. So the goal here is to be as accurate as possible. But if you don't know an answer, for example, if you're not sure if you registered for an English elective class like creative writing or yearbook for next year, then whatever you put down is going to be just fine. This section of your answer document is only used for ACT statistical purposes. So if it's reported incorrectly, that's not necessarily the most horrible thing in the world, okay? So you're going to mark down, I'll just do the first couple here for you and then your teacher will walk you through the rest, but English for 9th grade credit is the first line here. And every single student in your classroom right now has taken English 9 already. So you're going to bubble this little bubble here as I have already taken or I'm currently taking English 9. Same thing with English 10. Everybody in the room should have already taken English 10. So we're going to bubble I have taken English 10 or I am currently taking it. Same thing with English 11. I have taken it or I'm currently taking it. You're all currently in English 11 in some shape or form, so we're going to bubble right here. English for 12th grade credit is something that all of you will have to take in order to graduate from high school. So that will be the second column here. I haven't taken it yet, but I will take it next year. So you'll bubble here. And then again, like I said, other English courses that are not reported above, that might be things like creative writing or other English elective courses. If you are taking those courses next year, then you'll bubble here in the middle column, and if you're not, then you'll bubble here because I'm just not going to take those before I graduate. So I'll leave you to the rest of this, just filling out whether or not you have already taken or are currently taking it. You have not taken it, but I'm going to take it next year, or I haven't taken it, I'm never going to take it. So take some time to fill that out right now. Teachers, please pause. Okay, this next section is the grades earned section, so the section all the way on the right-hand side here. So this part is for every class you have made a bubble here in this first column needs to show a grade over here. So let's do the first couple together again. English for 9th grade credit. If you in 9th grade were kind of a B student in English, you're going to bubble B. You should try to think back to what your grades were in 9th grade, but if you just can't remember and your GPA is kind of at a B level, let's just go with B. Again, this is to the best of your recollection. You're just writing down what you remember. This is self-reported, so it's just fine if it's not 100% accurate, this part especially. Same thing for 10th grade. If in 10th grade in English you were kind of a C student, then let's bubble C. If you're kind of an A student, then let's bubble A. But let's just think about 10th grade as a whole in English. What kind of student were you? So every single course that you bubbled this first column, you need to bubble a grade over here for that. Okay, so I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that as well. Teachers, please pause. Okay, the next section, you'll have to turn your Taking the ACT booklet to page 7. This is the student profile section. So I'm going to turn to page 7 here and see what you're looking at as well. So this is the student profile section. So we're looking at the stuff at the top of the screen here. So basically what this is 114 questions about your plans for the future. You'll notice that there is not a number identified for every question that's asked starting on page 7. So question number 1 is, I plan to enroll as a full-time student. If that's true for number 1, that's the number 1 question on page 7, you're going to answer that with a bubbling in the number 1. I plan to enroll as a full-time student. I bubble 1. If I plan to enroll in college after senior year as a part-time student, under number 1, I'm going to bubble number 2 because that says part-time student. Then it skips 2 and 3 and moves on to number 4. So and number 4 says, upon entering college, I plan to live in a, and then asks where you're going to live. So number 1, under number 4, is in a residence hall or in a dorm. Number 2 is in an off-campus room or an apartment or in my own house. Number 3 is in my parents' house. And number 4 is married student housing. And number 5 is in a fraternity or sorority. So most of you, if you're headed off to a 4-year college after high school, will bubble number 1. If you're going to a community college or a local college and you're going to be living with your parents still, you'll bubble number 3. So you're going to work your way through all of these 114 questions using your Taking the ACT booklet as a guide. So you're looking at all of these bubbles and you're thinking, I don't know what to put here. The questions are in your Taking the ACT booklet. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to fill that out. We want to do this as quickly as possible so that we don't run out of time, because we need to get to the interest inventory pieces as well. So move quickly, move surely. If you don't know the answer to a specific question, leave it blank and move forward. Teachers, please pause. Okay, the last little piece of the pre-bubbling, you're going to turn to page 3 in your answer document, which looks like this. And at the very top, this is the same page that you put your email address on earlier, but at the very top, there's this interest inventory. So you're going to turn to page 10 in your Taking the ACT booklet, and you're going to answer these 72 questions about your interests. So you're marking the responses on page 3 of your answer document. This is a series of questions about your occupational interests and your plans. You're going to indicate how much you would like doing each of the activities listed by marking the appropriate response. Please try to mark a response for each activity, even if you're not quite sure how you feel about it. This section should take about 10 minutes, but we're not going to time you. So let's look at number 1 as an example. So number 1 says, explore a science museum. So you have 3 options on question number 1 on your answer document. There's a D, there's an I, and there's an L. So the D stands for I would dislike doing this activity. Dislike. So if you would dislike exploring a science museum, you're going to bubble the D for number 1. If you are I am indifferent, I could care less one way or the other if I explored a science museum, then you'll bubble the I on number 1. If you would like doing this activity, exploring a science museum, for number 1, you would bubble the L. So D stands for dislike, I stands for indifferent, meaning you don't really care one way or the other, and the L stands for I would like to do that activity. So you're going to go through all 72 questions and answer appropriately on the interest inventory section on page 3. So we'll give you some time to do that now. Teachers, please pause. And that's really it. So that's all of the pre-bubbling stuff. So we're going to give you some specific instructions now. The booklet that's called Taking the ACT with the blue triangle on the front, that's yours to keep and take home with you today. You have to leave your answer document with your teacher. Those will be distributed to you again on April 28th, the day of the test, along with the actual test book. Your teacher will have specific instructions for you as we move forward about where you are going to go and test and what time you need to be there and what room number you'll be reporting to take the ACT on April 28th. You must, on the April 28th, the test day, bring a photo ID, a soft lead number 2 pencil or 2, make sure they have good erasers. Mechanical pencils are not allowed on the ACT. So soft lead number 2 pencils, we will provide some to your classroom as well, but if you have some number 2 pencils with good erasers, make sure you bring those. And then also you want to make sure that you bring a permitted calculator. On actstudent.org, there is a list of permitted calculators. Make sure you know if the graphing calculator that you own, if that's an appropriate calculator for the ACT. You can use a calculator on the math portion of the ACT, although all of the questions are written so that it's not necessary that you use a calculator, but it might make you feel better to just have the calculator there. But make sure it's an approved calculator. I believe there might be information about approved calculators in your Taking the ACT booklet as well. If you have questions about is my calculator appropriate or approved, you can always swing by the CRC and we can help you with that as well. There are no cell phones allowed in the testing room. There are no iPods or other electronic devices, no iPads in the testing room. Scratch paper is not allowed for the ACT test. Notes and reading materials are not allowed. So when you're done with a particular section, you can't just whip out your English book and start reading. That's not allowed. So make sure that you are leaving all of those materials in your locker. If you have questions about the ACT, you can see Mr. King in Student Services, or you could stop by the CRC and ask those questions before April 28th. So thank you for your work on completing the pre-bubbling for the ACT, and we will see you all on April 28th. Have a good day.